Hey guys, and welcome to the next update here for my Voyager project. And as you can see, making some progress. Let's talk about this part first. I've got all my windows knocked out, and I've got almost all of the photo etch parts that are going to go on this kit, or at least on this portion. So this will actually give me something to talk about here real quick, is right up here. The bottom piece of this photo etch material here is essentially to replace all of this, and I'm not going to do it. Basically, the only difference between what is on the kit and what comes on the photo etch is it's just a little bit thinner. So it's a lot of work to, I guess, not get a lot of result. I actually like the way it looks right now. I don't really see a need to change it. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I like it the way it is, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I still have to add the extra escape pod hatches that go on up here, so we'll get to that in a bit. On the bottom, I've got the rest of the photo etch pieces, and if you can see, I've got my material in there, the dental acrylic. It's kind of dirty, but I got the dental acrylic in there for the windows. So I'm going to show you how to do that and what I've been doing with the photo etch. So that's the main hole, and if we get the secondary hole, I've got it glued together. I've also got it light blocked, the same with that one. And all I really did for the light blocking was hit it with some black primer. I did a couple coats of that, and then I have a white primer, and then just a flat white paint after that. So it should be protected. I've got some of the photo etched windows put in here, and I also have all of the dental acrylic put on here. So if we kind of hold this up here to the light, I'll have a nice little effect. And then just keep in mind we still have to go over it with tape and paint it to get the windows the right shape we want. But what I thought we could do first is talk about some photo etch, and then I'll show you how to do the dental acrylic. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I'm going to talk about photo etch here for a little bit. And again, this is the photo etch kit supplied by Paragraphics. And the idea of photo etch is just to improve the details and the quality of your model. So that's what we're doing here. And what I want to do is start applying the photo etch parts to my secondary hole. I've got the instructions right here on how to do that. And let's get to it. So something to keep in mind, if you've never worked with photo etch, don't let that deter you. It's not really the most difficult thing to use, and you know, to be perfectly honest, it's not that hard to learn either. So I'll show you real quick just how to do one piece, and we'll go from there. So what I want to do first is I want to add this piece right here. It's I believe it is, where is it? Part number 16. I think that's supposed to be one of the landing gear doors that were on the kit, so, or on the actual model. So yeah, landing gear doors. So we want to start putting those on. So the first thing to keep in mind is what you're going to be cutting on. This is just a couple pieces of tile left over from a bathroom remodel. You want to have something really hard to cut on. So whether it be like a piece of tile or a piece of glass, the idea is you don't want to be cutting this on like a cutting mat or on like a wood table, because as you know, you can press into those things and they're going to give, they're going to make a little bend. So as you're trying to cut into these parts, you could actually be warping them if you weren't cutting on a really hard surface. So that's one thing. And then a second thing is how you're going to be cutting it. I actually just use my my hobby knife. At least for me on this kit, my nippers aren't going to get in there to do it, and some people will use just a straight edge razor, which works fine, but I think in this application it's just too big. So I'm going to use that, and we're going to cut out this piece right here. So all I'm going to do is put my knife and rock it back and forth there a little bit. Alright, and then just get the other two sides. And that one right there. Alright, there's our piece. Next, just like when cutting out a plastic part, we've got little nubs. You can see them on there, and we need to get rid of those. So all I'm going to do for that is file them off. So it doesn't take much. The material is just brass and it's pretty thin, so you can actually make, you know, pretty quick work of it. Alright, so there's our finished piece. And then let me show you why we're doing this. There's a little bit of detail on the piece. You can see there's a little line drawn down the center of it, and it's going to go right here on the model where there is no line. So you could, I guess, sit there and scribe a line onto it if you wanted to, or we can just glue this part on. So the part is a little bit tapered. Just want to make sure we get it on the right part, and it's basically just going to go on like that. So to get it there, we're just going to use like a thin CA glue if you got it, or in my case, I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue. One of the reasons that I like using super glue for this is it'll provide a pretty good hold where it's not going to, you know, the part isn't going to fall off. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on there, if you can see. But the reason I like using it for this model is I got a piece on a little bit incorrectly, actually. I put it on where it wasn't quite perfect with the other side, so it was, I think, a little too far up. Anyways, I just kind of slid my knife in there and popped it off, and it, you know, didn't bend anything, it didn't break anything, so it'll provide that hold you need. But on the same side, if you mess up, at least with this, I was able to go back and kind of fix it. So that's how you add a photo etch part to Voyager. So I'm going to get ready, or busy, and bust out the other 6 or 7 pieces that'll go in here. Actually, there's quite a bit more. A lot of this has to get replaced too, so I won't bore you guys with that, but I'll get to work on that, and then let's take a look at how we do the dental acrylic next. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about dental acrylic. I purchased this off of eBay. I got this one for about 15 bucks, and it's a kit for basically doing dental acrylic. You know, dental molds and stuff like that. What it came with was a dropper. This is the actual liquid that we use while doing it, and then this is the powder that comes with it. Now there is a separating solution in here, which for this application we're not going to be using, a seal that we're not going to be using, and then they also give us some little handy tools, I guess, to use while, you know, if we were using it for that. I don't really see, you know, how I'm going to be using these. I'm just kind of using my finger, but this will have some use down the road, I'm sure. Anyways, so squirted on eBay. It's kind of difficult to find anywhere else, so just something to keep in mind. So what I want to talk about real quick is, I guess also, is how far this stuff actually goes. Now, if you can I don't even know if you can make that out, but I have used almost none of this in here. Barely any. And what I've got out of it is all of the windows on this section, and then all of the windows for the bottom part of Voyager saucer section. So what we're actually going to be focusing on is the upper portion of the saucer section. Alright, and sorry about that, the phone rang. Voyager, where are we at? Still missing some of the photo etch parts on here, but that's okay. I'm going to bust those out, you know, later on when I do the rest on this guy. But we're going to talk about how to put on the dental acrylic. So the first thing I noticed when doing this is it's a wiser idea to work in smaller sections than try to get as much can as you've done at once. The reason for it is when you're focusing on a larger area, that's when you can tend to have more smaller problems than if you just really give a lot of time and attention to a small area at a time. You're going to get a better result, I think. So what we're going to do first is put some tape on here, and let's start with this area right here. Let's start with let's say these 5 right here. So what you want to do is get your painter's tape and tear a little section here, and I'm just going to put it over it. And the most important process of this is making sure that this tape is down. It only happened once on the primary hole, or the secondary hole that I did earlier, that some of it came up and it kind of caused a mess, and then there's a big cleanup, and it's annoying. So if you can get it done right the first time without really having to mess around with it too much, you're going to end up being a lot happier. So what I think I'm actually going to do with this is trim it a little bit, because I want it to lay as flat as possible without it folding up here and there, because I think that this stuff, if it can find a way up, it's going to do it. So that should be pretty good. I'm going to kind of push it down with my hobby knife. Alright, so step 1 of dental acryling done. So then we flip it over, and we can see our holes, and we can see the tape behind it. So again, just really stressing, we're making sure that tape is down. What we're going to do next is come in with the powder. Now, this is actually kind of cool because it comes with this little tip at the end that's already on there, and it makes it really easy for dispersing this stuff where we need it. So I'm just going to fill up each one, being careful to make sure it gets in there and not missing a piece. And then I'm just going to kind of rub off the excess with my fingertip here. Alright, so now it's packed in the windows, and it's pretty white, so it's kind of hard to make out. But there it is. Now, one other thing I forgot to mention that I wanted to tell you guys before and not now is this stuff is, I can't even think of the word. This stuff has a very strong smell to it. This stuff smells like poison. So I haven't worked with a ton of resin material before, but I imagine that this liquid is up there with a lot of them that are pretty tough. So I'm in a pretty well ventilated area right now, so I'm not worried about it. You know, wear a mask. Don't breathe this stuff in. The first time I did this, I did it without a mask, and I regretted it. I kind of felt sick afterwards, so make sure you wear a mask. I'm going to go put mine on right now and show you what we do next, so just a second. Alright, I've got my mask on, and we are ready to do this. Now, all I'm going to do is take my chemical here. I'm going to get a little bit in this dropper. Alright, now I'm going to put it on the area. Let me see if I can get it in the camera for you. And what I have basically noted with this is you want to make sure to almost give it too much liquid rather than not enough. If you give it not enough, the area in here that has the powder is going to not be as, like, I guess, soupy or as thin as it should be. So when there are bubbles, the bubbles can escape. Now if you have it too thick, they're going to get trapped. So let's see if we can do this without getting any. Alright, I'm going to squirt the extra back into the bottle there, and I don't see any bubbles. And you can see that just as soon as that liquid gets on there, it clears right up. And it's not going to be, you know, completely clear, but it'll be nice enough that, like I say, when you see it with the light coming through it, it looks the way it should anyways. So I'm going to let this sit for a second, and I'll peel the tape off and show you guys what it'll look like. You can give it about 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can peel the tape off if you want, but you'll see that it's still pliable. You can still mold it around, but if you don't touch it, it'll be fine. But I'm going to let this set for about 10 or 15 minutes and maybe work on some of the photo etch, and then we'll get back and see how it came out. So just a second. Alright, and let's take a look at our dental acrylic. Now, just looking at it from the back side here, I can see that it's clearing up pretty well. It kind of took a different color there for a second, but when it fully dries, it'll be see-through, just like what we've got on the secondary hole. So let's peel it off and see how well I did. Alright, now it looks like they just need to be cleaned up a little bit, but I've got 3 windows right there. Let's take a look at the upper one. Alright, and those filled in pretty nicely too. And there you have it. If we hold this up to the light, get it up here. Here we are, which is our open holes. And then that's what the light's going to look like coming through, which looks pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. And then it'll look even better once we get the tape on there and get it sprayed. So that is pretty much where I'm at on the update on this guy. I got a little bit more work done on the secondary hole. I've had my first casualty on this kit. To install this photo etch material, you actually have to grind down the detail that's there to glue this on top of it. And for some reason I just spaced out, and there's a little bubble right there. And I just took that guy right off. He's completely gone. So I sanded it smooth, and no one showing up at my house is going to know that that was supposed to be there. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But yeah, hopefully if that's the worst thing that goes wrong with this kit, I'll be very happy. But yeah, dental acrylic, I like it. I think for my next go around though, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use the micro clister or crystal clear and see how that works. Just to see, you know, I like the way this is working, and I'll give that one a go, and I'll try that one and decide I work from there. I think what's going to end up happening is on larger windows, this is what I'll use, and then on smaller windows, the micro crystal clear is going to be the way to go. So anyways, that's where I'm at on Voyager. I hope you guys like what you see, and we'll see you next time. And until then, stay modeling, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.